What is up, trading family? So today I scalped on US30 another $4,400. Yesterday I did $5,400. Today $4,400. Have a look at this trade recap. In the meantime, I am gotta get the little baby wash. I gotta get the M3 wash. Bam. I'm gonna go through the quick drive-through. Here we go. Stay tuned. We're gonna do a review of my trades today using my lightning bolt strategy. Lightning bolt strategy, you need to go get it. It auto paints your support and resistance. It auto marks your swing highs and swing lows. It detects patterns within historical data. So, excuse me. So it's going to find ABCD patterns, all other harmonic patterns, and it will then mark your lightning bolt for a high probability reversal. It's what I use on the 1 minute chart. I'm scalping 1 minute chart. I'm scalping US30 on a 1 minute chart. Like, that's crazy. Who does that? I do it consistently, day in and day out. You can use it on your 5 minute chart, your 15, your 30, your 1 hour if you want to swing it, or if you want to day trade. It's all available to you. So let's go get it. I'm definitely anxious to show you guys how I made these entries. They look like they're sniper entries, but with the lightning bolt strategy, with the Algo King lightning bolt strategy, it's very, very easy. Very, very easy, and it's all day. So let's get it. Stay tuned. We're going to start right here. You know the routine. These bars are the beginning of the US market open. If you can see there, it says 16:30 on Pacific time. My server is overseas, so that's 6:30 a.m. In the morning, 6:30 in the morning. So there you have it. So here, 6:30, market pushed up, right? For 3 minutes, market pushed up. I saw that it then started to reject this level of resistance, which is my squawk zone. And basically what I did was I then shorted it right at this point, and it then it did shoot back up. It had me in drawdown until the next minute. And then at that point, I started to get in the money, and I took quite a few partials. I took the first partial for 22 pips, second partial for 39. Then I did 56, 70, and then a few others for like 78, right? So I was taking partials, I was chopping down my position, and then it started to turn against me. And as I saw that thing started to reject, is when started to actually reject these zones. It started to pop up, and that's when I closed it. I closed it out manually for just a 8 pip profit. So there you have it. That was the market open. Like I said yesterday in yesterday's video, I always wait for the US30 to create its swing high or swing low initially, and then it'll begin to reverse for a moment in time. That's usually the case. I look for that, and that's why I scalp the market open for just a quick in and out kind of trade. So this particular trade lasted for the max 7 minutes. There you have it. The next trade here, let's see what we have here. This trade here, if you could see this here, this line here, let me see if I could change the color of this line here. I'll change it to yellow. And there's another one that goes this way here. Trend line, let's see here. Let's change this here. And this particular trade, a few more minutes in, about 10 minutes in, basically what's happened is as it rejected this level, I closed my position, but I also got into another trade because it tested and it began to reject this green trend line that I have got going on, and also my squawk zone, and also it rejected all 4 of my simple moving averages, which is the 20, the 40, I'm sorry, the 20, the 50, 100, and 200 SMA. So I jumped right into that trade, and my first take partial was for 37 pips. And then the next one, 57 pips. Just like that, it began to retest. And let me just draw this in. This could have been a fib move, I believe. No, it was, actually it was. Yeah, so it was a fib move, right? So let me just move this here. Then what occurred is at this leg here, this particular trade, if you can see this trade here, this particular trade, it was an actual fib move. So as I closed these positions, it retraced. It then rejected my 20 simple moving average and my squawk zones. I highly believe in my squawk zones. I trust them. It rejected it. And then I got in for another 15 pips. I saw the same thing here, another rejection of a zone, right? It started to come here, it rejected the zone here. And right at this point is when I jumped into this trade for another 10 pips. So these are quick scalps. It then retraced, it rejected my zone again. I got in high, but then it ran again for another 20 pips, 27 pips, 42 pips, and then all the way up here, 87 pips. So, you know, that was a good morning. And it was really quick. If you followed my stories, I was just posting up the results basically as I closed out positions. I posted the results so you can see in near real time. So here we have a lightning bolt here. So this is the lightning bolt here that was struck along with my buy signal. And then I saw that price. So price tested or began to push through this zone, right? So we have a test and a rejection here at this level, right? Then we have another test and rejection at this level. And once I saw that and it then began to break through the 20 and the 50 SMA, I then bought here. I went long for a quick 10 pip scalp. As I enter these zones, as I enter anything on the chart that's resistance, whether it's my squawk zones, a trend line, a 20, 50, 100, 200 simple moving average, I'm constantly taking partials. So as I entered the beginning of this zone, I took partials for about 10 pips. And then as I got to the end of the zone, right, because this is a wick, the reason why my zones are wide is because it's a wick fill, right? It's a swing high or swing low at some point in time in history that where the body and the distance between the body and the wick was the height of the zone. Right, so that's how I draw my zones. So as I got to the top of that zone, I closed out because once again, the trade could reverse on me, right? So you could see the next trade, once the next bar opened, it shot up, it actually shot all the way down here, almost back down to the bottom or the support of this zone, and then it shot back up, right? And then this particular trade here, once again, I use my zones. If it's not a lightning bolt, then I can use the zones as long as I can connect it with confluence around any of my simple moving averages that I promote, right? So the simple moving averages, once again, 20, 50, 100, 200 SMA, simple moving averages. So price came here, right? And as price shot up, it rejected this zone. And as it rejected the zone, it then began to reject the 20. And I was trusting at that point that it was going to push through the 50 because I was so close to the 50 and I would think that there would have already been a reaction. There wasn't. So I jumped in here for this particular trade. And if you can see here, let me see if I could change the color of this line. So you can see the distance of this trade. So it's yellow, but it is a short trade. You can see here. So I took this here. And I took my first partial right at that level there for 6 to 7 pips. And then the next one was at the next zone, at the next squawk zone. I then took another partial for 45 pips. And then another partial, my third partial was for 38 pips. And then somewhere along that line, I closed the rest of the position. So once again, if you can, couple the squawk zone or the lightning bolts with additional confluence, whether those two together or the zone or the lightning bolts with a simple moving average, it makes great confluence. Here, I didn't take this trade here, but as you can see, with the lightning bolts here that's striking, and right here, you can see that it's beginning as price shot up, it created that high, it then closed out, it created the lightning bolts, it shot past, it actually rejected that level of resistance, which was my squawk zone. And it also rejected the 20 and the 50, the 20, 50, and 100 simple moving average, right? So the 20 is the red, the 50 is the yellow, and the 100 is the white lines there. It broke through, and that would have been a great sell. I got in late. I got in at this point. I don't know why I got in that, so late at that point, but I did get in there, and I closed out my first partial for 8 pips. So here's, once again, it was a break of a zone. Price began to shoot up at this point and retest that zone. It started to reject. I got in at this point, and here's another quick scalp for 19 pips, and then the second partial for 16. Let's go over here. I mean, this is just back to back, and this is on a 1 minute chart. Also here, if you can see here, I had a lightning bolt, right? And I saw that price rejected the 200 simple moving average, which is, usually does reject the 200 for the first time. It's not going to just shoot through. There's going to be some testing and retesting of the 200. So as price began to touch this level, this 200, this bar closed, created a nice wick. Also, it then on the next bar at this level, it gave me a lightning bolt and a buy. I immediately bought in right here. and I took it for 12, what is that? Yeah, 12 pips. I took it for my first take partial as it was passing the 20. I wasn't sure if it was going to reject it and shoot down. That's why I take partials often. It then shot up and it then touched the 50 SMA. I took my second partial, and then price got here right at the end, at the top of the 50 to 618 zone. You can see this is the 618. My lightning bolt strategy draws out the fib, and you can see it was a 50 to 618. I was feeling like that would have been a good time for a sell. There would be sell pressure. I must have been feeling it at this point, so I closed that position as well. I took another partial as well, so that was 3 take partials, and that third take partial was for 36 pips. This is, it becomes very easy once you get, you get to see what's happening. Let me move on to some of the other ones here. So here's one. There was no lightning bolts, but this is my squawk zone. Price tested, and then it began to reject this zone. And as it rejected this zone, it rejected the 20, the 50, the 20, the 50, and the 100 simple moving average. I hopped right in, and I rode this down for the first 27 pips. The second TP was for 57 pips, and the third piece TP was a little bit further. Wow, that was a nice one. So this one ran from here all the way down for 143 pips. I held that pretty long, a little bit, probably longer than what I normally would. Maybe I need to start holding on to them a little longer. And that was probably the trade of the day, a nice trade of the day. But as you can see, when I go through these trade recaps, I'm really wanting to put the pieces together for you. So if you have good zones and you know that you have other confluences that you use, for me it's the 20, 50, 100, and 200. I keep saying it, but for me, I use those. Why? It's because I know that price is always going to react at those levels. Well, why is price going to react at those levels? Why do I choose those instead of the 8? You hear about people using the 8, the 6, the 21, and things like that, the 12, and so forth. Well, with my studies, I know that there's a lot of orders there are traders around the world that are looking for price action and looking for entries at those levels. So if my price is moving into the direction of one of those SMAs, I should expect a reaction in price or some resistance. So I don't know if it's going to turn around against me. Well, so what I do is I take my partial every time because I want to be rewarded for the efforts of making that little bit of gain. So I take that little bit of gain, I take a partial, and I protect immediately. And I never move my stops up at that point. I just let the trades run. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. That's for a $4,400 or $4,500 win today. And today's Thursday. And I'll see you next time. Thank you much.